Hi, it is Hayley Quinn, but I'm hoping you know who I am. Now, I actually really want to create a special video for you today because I have been inundated with so many emails and messages and questions, really all around the same topic, which is why does she suddenly stop responding to you, or why do women give their phone numbers out and then don't bother to set up a date? Why is she chatting to you on a dating app and it seems to be going well and then the whole thing falls apart and she just stops responding to you? Why, even if she is responding to you, is it so hard to get her to actually commit to that one date? Now, I know that the texting and in-between date communication can be a huge stick point, which means that even if you're doing a good job of approaching her, even if you're pretty active on your dating app profiles, that there can still be this gap where none of that effort that you're going to translates into her actually being sat in front of you on a first date. And even if you get to the first date, it might not make it to the second. So what I wanted to do is, now from my understanding of working also with so many women, which I coach and connect with every week, and talking to my female friends, I realize that there's a gap in guys, I guess, general level of awareness in terms of how women are approaching dating in 2018, what their different strategies are, and then how you can go about negotiating that difficulty around text message conversation. So because of that, the first thing I wanted to make you aware of is that not all women want the same things at the same point in time, and actually how she's texting you could be suggestive of how she has taken a different texting strategy. Now, why has dating changed this much in 2018? Well, I think we've got loads of factors that have happened recently which make dating very different today to how it was even 3 short years ago before dating apps came out. Now, with dating apps coming out, of course, everyone now has at least the illusion of access to so many more people who they could potentially date. So she might not feel like she has any real interest or guys that she thinks are date-worthy on the agenda. However, hypothetically, there's obviously an endless supply of men who she could potentially go on dates with. I think this, combined with how our gender roles are shifting around and everyone being a bit confused about whose job is what within the dating process, plus rental prices being high, and women being actually slightly less relationship focused because they're prioritizing career and other things that are going on in their lives. I think this has made a combination or a perfect storm of factors, which means that she's probably less willing or less invested in the dating process. It takes more to impress her, and if she feels that you might just be just another guy, she doesn't feel that she wants to invest in dating you. So when I was working with a guy recently on one of my training programs, he said to me, and I fully understood his frustration, I just want her to make the same effort and the level of investment as I'm making. Now, the problem is, by the time you've maybe seen a cool picture of her on social media or a dating app, or you've had an interaction with her, even if it's relatively short, you already feel quite secure that you would like to go on a date with her. Like, you know you're attracted to her and you'd be excited to get the opportunity to spend longer in her company. The issue is that she hasn't actually had that, she has yet to select you, so her level of initial willingness is much lower. By selecting you, of course, when a woman looks at a guy, you might be more or less her type, but as we all know, physical type and preference for women actually isn't that important compared to how she feels in your company, your behavior, and whether you're able to demonstrate other qualities to her over a period of time. Now, because her attraction slowly gets switched on, it's that classic dial analogy. Because of that, unfortunately, if you've just had a really short interaction with her, either on a dating app or maybe a conversation that wasn't really exciting or that didn't have much depth to it, or was just cut short in real life, her initial level of investment in you is very low. It is hard for her to tell why you are special and unique compared to all the other guys that she could potentially go on a date with. This means that while she's to an extent keeping her options open, because she's not sure what your intentions are or if she even likes you, her text messages can lack investment, they can lack momentum, and she might not actually feel that willing to clear time in her calendar to meet you, which is what brings me back to the 3 kind of very different dating behaviors to see in women, and some examples of text messages that might help you to resolve that issue. So the first issue could be that she just sees you as just another guy. Now, I do agree that in 2018, women have very high expectations when it comes to dates because of, I think, a lot of what the ideas that are shown on TV and in the movies and in the media. She thinks like when it's going to be a guy that she's going to have a sexual relationship with, or she's going to date, or it's going to be her boyfriend, she's kind of expecting a bit of a moment here where there's like birds singing in the trees, and little bunny rabbits hop about, and she feels, the thing that I hear from women is that it should just be obvious, right? That when it's the right guy, it's obvious. So if it doesn't feel obvious to her that you're a guy that she has that sexual chemistry with or that deeper personal connection, she can be not dismissive, but she can be nonchalant about whether she wants to meet up with you or not. You'll notice this, that maybe you haven't built enough connection to your text messages when she's a bit slow to get back to you, or she sends you just an emoji as a response. Likewise, you might have got her number from a dating app, but you're finding it hard to really get the conversation off of those straight up question answer style messages. So what I want you to think about in this is she needs to experience, it's probably that she might be open to dating you, but she needs to experience more excitement about receiving your message and more connection and become more invested in the text message exchange before you really feel like you've got enough momentum there to ask her out on a date. Now, instead of then sticking to a normal text message format, you might want to swap it up. This is a great point where I think you might want to swap to voice memo, you know, like on WhatsApp or iMessage, where you just hold the little microphone button down for like 10 seconds. Don't go over 30 seconds. Or you might want to send her a picture, not a pic, but instead you might want to send her a picture of something that you're doing. It could be that you are out about to play tennis. It could be a cool city landscape. It could be like an iced coffee that's in a cool hipster coffee shop. Show something which I would say is Instagram worthy. So it's a clear, high resolution image shot in natural daylight, which you would feel cool to publish on an Instagram or social media profile that really demonstrates your lifestyle. So if you're a sporty guy, do something with sports. If you're a business guy, maybe a laptop. If you're a kind of cosmopolitan or fashionable guy, maybe you're in some cool coffee shop with an iced coffee. Now, you don't have to actually even put yourself in the picture. Instead, it's probably cooler and more aloof to show something, some aspect of your lifestyle or what you're doing. This will help her to become more intrigued by you and to think, oh, okay, this guy's doing something cool with his life. Also, when she initially receives that message and it says your name has sent you a picture, I bet curiosity will get the better of her and she will open up that message. Then of course she sees it's not a rude picture, it's actually kind of a cool lifestyle picture. And then you can say something like, this is me, what are you up to today? Or this is me, what does London look like today? ? This invites her to enter into a text message exchange with you where she might send you a photo message back. Then when you're swapping photo messages, you might then move on to sending a little voice note so she hears your voice and it builds more trust that way. All of these things added together are to shift you out of that who is this guy or this is just another guy category into someone that she feels that depth of personal connection with, so she makes time to see you. Okay, the second strategy that you might want to think about is for the woman who really is, maybe this is actually particularly for Gen Z women, so that younger end of the dating spectrum, where she just seems like she's got a really hectic life. She's on Instagram all the time. She has more Snapchats than anyone going. And because of that, she is just distracted by her life. She's got a lot of stuff going on. She's really enjoying her life right now. And because she's just met you, again, she doesn't feel that level of investment to really create time for you in her diary, but she likes you enough that she kind of wants to keep you as an option, and she doesn't want to be too rude or too dismissive by giving you a straight no. This is the kind of woman who, again, she'll say something like, oh, I might be free in a couple of weeks, but I'll have to see what's going on because I've got a big university project, or I've had a big work deadline, or you know what, I haven't been feeling too well this week, but let's catch up maybe in a couple of weeks, or tennis sounds fun, let's do it when maybe in a month or so when the weather's better. So she basically gives you this like indeterminate period of time when she might be free. Now, if you hang around and you're constantly like, so are you free this week? How's this week looking for you? You immediately are going to lose value, and also you're not trying to get a future plan out of her might not work because you haven't built that level of investment and value. So maybe as a secondary strategy, trying to use photo and voice note exchange, if that isn't really connecting and you still can't set a date because she literally, it sounds harsh, but she doesn't as yet, though this can change, value the connection with you enough to set that future time aside for you to hang out. If that's not happening, you might want to play on urgency, you might want to play on spontaneity, and choose a kind of an off time of the week to send the message, maybe a Tuesday or a Wednesday where you think maybe she's got less going on or less to do. Then you can send a message like, hey, hey, it's sunny, let's get ice cream, ? And you say it in that much of a short and direct style. So it's not, would you like to do, it's, hey, it's sunny, let's do this. Then her natural response to this is going to be, when, or how about in 2 weeks' time? At this point, you have to respond, I was thinking more like later, ... send message. Or today, ? send message. Or in a couple of hours, ? send message. Now this urgency and this push for her to decide, plus the fact that the date sounds cool and it doesn't sound like it's going to take too long, plus the fact that it's on an off time of the week, you might catch her on a moment of spontaneity and she might just say yes. Now this is a pretty high risk strategy, but if you feel that this text message and this number really isn't going anywhere, you may want to consider going down that path and trying that out. So I hope that helps you. Now, the third possible thing that could happen is a completely different generation of women. And this is women who are looking maybe to date a bit more seriously. And so therefore are concerned that you're just another guy, or maybe a guy who's a bit of a player, or they don't really know how interested you are in them. Maybe they doubt how sincere you are. And again, this isn't fair. I'm not saying that she should have these judgments against you. I'm just being honest and realistic that a negative byproduct of dating apps in 2018 for women has been very much that they experience that it's harder to tell what a guy's intentions are. They're going to have had a guy, or many guys, that have come onto them really strong, really wooed them, really romanced them. They thought it was going great, only for the guy to suddenly disappear and ghost them. Women get that a lot too. Because of this, this actually means that women, especially women who are looking for more of a boyfriend or a relationship, can be more cautious and can be unsure about what your intentions are. Therefore, they can think, oh, he's just some guy and he's just chatting me up and he just wants to have sex with me. And they can be quite dismissive, again, around actually investing that time in you. So a good thing for you to do here is sometimes actually by persisting just once, if she hasn't got back to your last message, and sending a message which more clearly states your intentions, sometimes this can work really fantastically to allay some of her fears, because it satisfies that need where she thinks, well, he's not treating me like just some other woman, he's really making time and effort to connect with me and see me. So that could be, for instance, that you send a message like, hey, I'm breaking the double texting rule, wink, but I would still really like to see you if you can be persuaded. Or, hey, I know I'm breaking the double texting rule, but I would really like to see you. What's your schedule looking like for the rest of the week? Smile. So it's kind of strong, it's acknowledging the fact that you have double text, and it's saying that it's basing the reasoning of why you're doing that in the fact that, yeah, you really like her or you're really interested. Then if she's uncertain about you, the fact that you've shown this determination is going to be very attractive to her, because women will assume that if a guy is, really wants her and really desires her, that he's going to pursue her and make an effort. Now, of course, if you don't get a response to this message, that's the time where it's good to cut your losses and be like, there's other women that are out there. Don't assume that just the fact that she hasn't got back to you means that she's a super high value, awesome woman. It could just mean actually she's not taking enough personal responsibility at this stage to exit the interaction. So anyway, I hope you found this video super useful. What I wanted to show to you was really how women, there isn't just kind of one female psychology or one female response to the modern dating environment. Instead, women, just like you are, and I know this from working with so many female clients myself and having female friends, they have had their own, they've started to take a different route and approach to dating in response to the modern era too. And part of it is reading her signals correctly so you understand what track she's on, and then knowing some really good strategies to work around the many pitfalls of modern dating. Anyway, I hope you've loved this video. What I will say is if you've enjoyed what I've spoken about, you really want to watch your email over the coming days, because I am going to be talking to you about something very special that's coming up, which is going to help you in this confusing process between first meeting a woman and then that key fallout point, which is, okay, I've had a great first interaction, or okay, I've got her number, but how in the world do I get her onto that first date, and how do I make that first date so good that she really wants to see me again? If you're curious about that, make sure you watch my emails that are coming up. And I really hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm going to be exploring lots about female dating archetypes and women's psychology, and how then really approaching dating in things that are coming up this summer. So make sure my email is fully GDPR compliant and is hitting your inbox. All right, it's been awesome working with you, and I'll speak to you very soon.